Hi, this is Neve Minion from UK Education Abroad and Exchanges, and thank you for watching today's short webinar, What You Need to Know to Go Abroad, Health and Safety. The first section is knowing your resources. UK International Centre and Education Abroad prioritize your health and safety while abroad. Our office monitors international security to identify security events and threats. And please know that someone from UK Education Abroad is always on call 24/7 to monitor and respond to crises abroad. In the event of an emergency, someone from Education Abroad will contact you via your UK email address to check in and provide guidance about what to do. It is very important that you respond to any emails that you receive from UK Education Abroad in the event of an emergency situation. The Smart Traveler Enrollment Program is called STEP, and it's a free service through the U.S. State Department. It allows you to register your time abroad with the U.S. Embassy or consulate nearest to your program location. Education Abroad will enroll you in the STEP program, and some of the benefits are that you will receive important information from the embassy in the country in which you are going to be abroad. It will also contact you in the event of an emergency and help your friends and family get in touch with you if there is an emergency abroad. Some students and their families have concerns about going abroad, and some common ones are terrorism, kidnapping, and nuclear war. With the 24-hour news cycle, certain international incidences receive intense amounts of media coverage, and this increases the public's awareness and perception of frequency of these events. However, some of the more common risks we want you to be aware of are things like pickpocketing, road accidents, and alcohol-related incidences. The incidences which occur abroad are usually not very different than what you might experience here in the US, but because you're in an unfamiliar location, it may heighten your risk and ability to respond. It's important for you to know and understand the risks that you may encounter while going abroad so that you can help minimize them. It's your responsibility to take an active role in ensuring your safety. We want to make sure that you read the U.S. State Department website for country-specific information and know what areas are safe or not safe for you to visit. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Don't draw unnecessary attention to yourself. Don't engage in high-risk activities. Avoid overconsumption of alcohol and be alert, especially when using public transportation. The next section is preparing to go abroad. You want to make sure that you talk to your doctor to discuss your plans for going abroad, especially if you have a recurring medical condition. You want to make sure how that will impact your ability to participate in the program's travel itinerary. You want to make sure you discuss the availability of any prescription medication you're taking abroad, and review the routine and required vaccinations for your destination. Some programs do require you to complete a routine medical evaluation and complete a form as part of your pre-departure process. If you don't have any medical conditions and you're traveling to a relatively low-risk location, you may not need to visit your doctor before departure. Make sure your vaccinations are up to date, especially your routine ones. You want to make sure you know what the requirements are for any other vaccines you might need for the location where you're going. Check the Center for Disease Control's website to find out what vaccinations are required. You want to make sure you schedule an appointment with your doctor, the travel clinic, as soon as possible, and document your vaccinations. Please know that not all vaccinations are covered under your health insurance, so you may have to pay out of pocket for certain travel vaccines. Certain medications are illegal overseas. Just because your medication is legal here doesn't mean you're going to be able to have it abroad. It's going to be your responsibility to determine if the medication you're taking here in the US you can use abroad. Make sure you carry your medication in the original containers and pack it in your carry-on luggage. If you can, bring enough medication for the entire time you'll be abroad and extra, but make sure that you bring a copy of your prescription and a note from your doctor in the event there's issues when crossing the border, or if you need to get a refill of your prescription while you're abroad. The next section is what to do in an emergency. Emergencies may occur while you are abroad, so it's important that you're prepared for them. Make sure to research and identify which emergencies are most common where you are going, and develop an emergency action plan of what you would do in the event of an emergency. Share your emergency action plan with your contacts in the States, and make sure you pay attention during your orientation on site to learn what your program's emergency response plan is. In the event of a medical emergency, seek care as soon as possible. It's important to learn the number for the emergency medical services in your country. Reminder, it's probably not 911. Make sure you understand how to use your international insurance. And for routine or non-emergency medical care, try to contact your insurance or on-site staff before seeking care, because they maybe will be able to help you find a provider. If you do have to pay for any medical expenses out of pocket, make sure that you keep your receipts and know that UK can help you file insurance claims if you're using UK's insurance policy. If your passport is lost or stolen, you have to replace it before you can return to the US. Make sure to upload a copy to your UK Education Abroad application because it could be helpful to you in the event of a lost or stolen passport. Contact the nearest US embassy to get your replacement passport, and you will have to provide a statement describing the circumstances in which you lost or your passport was stolen. You will need to provide certain items in order to get a new passport, and the list is here. If your wallet is lost or stolen, call your bank immediately to cancel your cards. Make sure that you request your bank send you a replacement card. File a police report and contact your emergency contact stateside. See if they are able to send you money. If they are, make sure to use a reputable money transfer company. And you may want to check your credit score in case that the lost or stolen wallet impacted your credit score. Insurance. International travel medical insurance. University of Kentucky requires all students to be covered by international travel medical insurance for your official program dates. This is important because costs of healthcare and evacuations can be very high, and having insurance can help with those. Travel medical insurance is different than U.S. insurance coverage because oftentimes U.S. Policies are limited in the amount of coverage they provide abroad, and travel medical insurance covers medical emergencies such as repatriation or medical and security evacuation. It's important to remember that most international travel medical insurance policies do not cover travel delays, lost or delayed baggage, or personal effects. The next section is alcohol and drugs. The University of Kentucky Student Code of Conduct does not prohibit students from consuming alcohol in a responsible manner if you are of legal age in the country in which you are studying. But no, attitudes towards alcohol vary by culture, so it's important that you do your research about the country in which you are going. Excessive drinking can lead to entanglements with local authorities and violate program rules, and may have repercussions at UK. Please remember you are representing the University of Kentucky while you're abroad, and we expect you to act responsibly. The consequences of drinking alcohol abroad: it impairs judgment. There are serious health and safety risks that can result from excessive drinking. Public intoxication may be considered a criminal activity abroad. Alcohol abuse is often involved in injury, accident, rape, and violent crime. And other consequences include unsafe sex, academic problems, health problems, suicide attempts, drunk driving, and vandalism. Do not do drugs abroad. Using drugs will violate the UK Student Code of Conduct as well as your program rules, and there are serious consequences associated with using drugs in other countries, including program expulsion, jail, or deportation. Expectations of behavior abroad. Each program and host institution will have specific rules which you must obey. The program rules and expectations will be outlined during your on-site orientation, so make sure to pay attention. Breaking a rule could result in removal from your program. Any students who are dismissed from a program are responsible for the costs associated with returning early and are not guaranteed to receive academic credit for the time that they were abroad. UK Education Abroad is notified by program staff if a student has violated any rules. Students studying abroad are subject to the rules and regulations outlined in the UK Student Code of Conduct, specifically Administrative Regulation 410. If any student violates the university's Student Code of Conduct abroad, they are subject to sanctions when they return to campus. Local laws. Rights and freedoms available in the US are not equally valued around the world. You must obey local laws of your host country. If it's legal in the US, that doesn't mean automatically that it's legal abroad. If you are arrested abroad, you'll be subject to the local criminal justice system. And laws vary from country to country, so it's your responsibility to become familiar with the laws in your host country. The next section is other things to remember. Safe eating and drinking habits are important when you travel internationally. Make sure you research the destination before you leave so you're prepared to manage your food and drink choices. If you're studying abroad and have dietary restrictions, you should notify your program to determine what accommodations are possible. And if you have food restrictions related to a medical condition, make sure to discuss your travel plans with your physician before you depart. Insects can spread diseases, many of which cannot be treated by medication, so prevention is key. Some tips to prevent bug bites are using insect repellent, covering exposed skin, and using a mosquito net. Vaccines and prophylactic medications are available for a number of insect-borne illnesses, so speak to your doctor and visit the Center for Disease Control website for destination-specific information before you go abroad. Studying abroad in a new country with a new culture can be stressful. Students can experience loneliness, homesickness, and anxiety, as well as unforeseen mental health issues. Time abroad does not mean you should stop ongoing mental health treatments. Insurance coverage includes access to mental health professionals. If you are being treated for a mental health issue, work with your therapist to come up with a list of warning signs and coping techniques that you can use while you're abroad, and have a plan as to how you're going to access support if you need it. If you are comfortable, disclose your mental health concerns to your program, because self-advocacy and communicating your needs are important tools for your success. UK does not tolerate any form of sexual assault, stalking, dating violence, domestic violence, or the threat of any of those against members of the university community. If you experience any of these things abroad, remember you have rights, you have support, and you have options. UK has a number of resources to help you if you should wish to use them. Please just contact Education Abroad and we will be able to connect you with those resources. Always remember, experiencing sexual misconduct is not your fault and you are not to blame. Some reminders when traveling internationally: catcalling or hissing may be more common in the country in which you are studying. Make sure to stay in control and not let your guard down. Use caution in one-on-one situations and look for cultural cues. See how others act and interact when abroad. If you have any additional questions about any of the topics we covered or things that we didn't cover in today's webinar, please don't hesitate to contact your Education Abroad advisor or email educationabroad@uky.edu. We hope you have a safe and rewarding experience abroad.